I'm overseeing a couple of the folks on the managerial side of things with a few different divisions underneath the data analytics side. But I would be, certainly involved in the hiring process for some of these needs that we have, specifically on the data visualization side.
Awesome. And then what kind of hiring needs are currently top of your mind for you?
At the top of the list right now, I mentioned the data visualization side of
Mm.
things. We're definitely looking to build up that team. We have a few pretty high priority projects on the data visualization side, so we're looking to get those off the ground as quickly as possible. And for that, we're going to need the headcount to be brought up.
Awesome. So speaking about data visualization specifically, have you have, sorry, what challenges have you had specifically while you have been searching for consultants to hire for a data visualization analysis?
Yeah, I mean, our main issues right now are number one, it's getting the right type of talent in the door. We've been working with a few other agencies, and it just seems like the folks that they're bringing to our attention, they don't quite have the expertise that we're looking for in the data visualization space. Specifically, we're looking for folks that have a strong technical Alteryx experience within their background, folks that have worked with workflow automations, stood up and developed data warehouses, and also have a strong Excel background because that's the program that we use most frequently on the data visualization side. So that is really the technical background we're looking for, and it's been hard to find the right people, and then the folks that they are sending us that are close to the right profile, they tend to be quite high in rate. So we're really trying to find the right folks that would help us with the project as a whole.
Hmm, awesome. And then how how does budget factor into your current decision making when hiring these individuals?
Yeah, so we're definitely, pretty cognizant of our budget. Right now we're trying to target candidates in the 100 per hour range to anywhere up to, about $120 per hour. So that is definitely been a bit of a pain point for us trying to find the folks that have the technical expertise that also fit into the, approved budget that we have for the project already.
Hmm. And then are you using any outside sources to gather consultants for your organization? Are you using any other organizations such as staffing companies currently?
So we do have a couple other vendors that we've worked with in the past, at least for other business areas at Airbnb, but we haven't had a ton of success on the data analytics side with them. We're still gathering resumes from them, seeing profiles, and seeing if it makes sense to move forward with their folks for our team. But overall, it hasn't yielded much success.
Hmm. Would you be open to adding another vendor towards your staffing company in hopes of finding better consultants?
I would be open to it. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to learn a little bit more about Alku and what you guys can potentially provide to us. I think that would be, potentially beneficial to us.
Awesome. Based on what we've discussed, are there any other challenges within the data science division that we haven't covered already?
It's really a matter of bringing the right people on and staying within the budget that we have set out. So that would be the main criteria that we're looking for in a new vendor to help us out with.
Hmm. So just to recap, it sounds like you're looking for a qualified data visualization analysis within approximately, I would say, a week. You want to get them in as fast as you can. And you also are looking for a candidate within the budget of approximately $120. Is that correct?
Yep, that sounds right.
Now, Andrew, would you mind if we started to discuss the features that Alcool provides within our services to our clients?
Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys can do.
Awesome. So to start, Andrew, Alcool is a seven-step process. So our client gives us their job requirements. Outcool works with our network, and our account managers select one consultant after screening. And after receiving that one consultant, Outcool then will recommend the consultant to our client, and thus the client will conduct their own interview and decide if this consultant is fit for hiring within that position. But Outcool focuses on only one niche. So compared to our competitors that are trying to service all of the niches within the organization, we're only going to focus on one niche, and we're going to focus on providing you the best candidate with the most quality experience within that work environment. And we're going to try to achieve all of this within a 24-hour timeline so that you are able to continue on moving with your processes, and so you don't have to worry about hiring. But at Outcool, our account managers speak to the hiring managers. So I am an account manager in this example. So I am speaking to you on behalf of Outcool, trying to gain your commitment. But if we were to decide that we would want to move forward, I would reach out to one of my recruiters who specializes in data visualization, and he would reach out to our network of our data visualization analysts. And thus, after he conducts his interviews and selects his candidate, I will refer that candidate back to you, and then you can conduct your interview and decide if you would want to hire that individual. But we also can assume complete responsibility for a project or simply act as an advisory during this time.
Okay, good to know. That sounds like a really well thought out process.
And then, Andrew, here's just a list of some of our clients that we have worked with in the past. We have worked with PayPal, Walmart, Tesla, TripAdvisor, Geico, Johnson & Johnson, AT&T, CarMax, Nissan, UPS, Zoom, Papa John's, and so many more. But we've had the opportunity to work with other companies such as Expedia and Booking.com, and we have over 40 data science and analytic professionals that we place throughout these programs. So it's actually kind of funny because one recent success story that comes to mind while working with one of our clients, his name is actually Edgar. So we placed Edgar with Walmart after Walmart came to us hoping to gain us as a client. And Edgar was able to identify a low-cost solution to their ongoing supplier challenges. And in a follow-up meeting with their team, they shared how Edgar's insights significantly improved their supply chain management and their performance within their supply chain. But what stood out most to me about this whole interaction was how Edgar never mentioned any of this himself to our team. And when we brought it up to him, he simply stated that he was just doing his job.
Wow, that is great to hear. I think that's a really good example of what you guys can provide to us. So, I'd love to even potentially see his resume if you could send that over with your capabilities brief in an email.
Of course. And then before we move too much further, I just want to clarify if you have any questions or concerns with Outcool so far. We
One
are going to
question.
discuss the commissions in a second, but I just want to give you time to discuss anything else that might come to mind.
Gotcha. I mean, the rate was one thing that came to mind that I wanted to learn a bit more about, but I'll let you discuss that a bit, and if I have additional questions on it, I'd bring them up then.
Okay, well, moving forward right into the rates. So we do charge $225 for a first-time placement, but now this placement, you will have the consultant within 24 hours. But if you were looking to hire two or more consultants, we do charge a price of $200 for first-time clients. But now if you're a reoccurring client and you're looking for one placement, we usually charge a rate of $175. And a reoccurring client looking for two or more hires, we charge a rate of $150. I know that you were speaking about $120 when we were talking about commissions, so I don't know how this is going to factor in, but what are your thoughts so far?
I mean the 225 first time placement, that's going to far exceed the budget that we have, so that certainly wouldn't work on our end. The 150 rate might be something that we could come up to in our budget. It would be tight, but I can get in touch with my finance director and see if we have that. Is there wiggle room for that, the first time placement, or we probably will need more than two consultants, so maybe, is there wiggle room from that, the 200 mark,
Of
down to
course.
close to 150.
So I'll tell you this actually, Andrew. Since you are a first-time client and it seems that you're looking for more than one consultant and you're also looking for possible future partnerships with Outcool, how about we knock that price all the way down to $175 to start to gain the first consultant. And if that works out and everything goes through, we'll knock that price down to $150 after for all consultants that we branch out over towards Airbnb.
Yeah, I think the 175, it might be a little bit difficult. I can get in touch with finance and see if we can do that. If we can bring in the resources at 150, I think that's something that might be feasible for us based on our budget.
Of course. And then I can also talk with my management and we can look to even bring that price down further, given that Airbnb has been such a dominant industry and we are looking forward to attempting to establish a partnership with you guys.
All right, great to know. Thank you.
But wrapping it up, I just want to say thank you, Andrew, for taking the time to meet with me. I know you said you had about 10 minutes to meet. We went a little bit over that 10-minute mark, but I appreciate all the time that you spend learning about Outcool. And if Outcool sounds like it would be a good fit for Airbnb, would you mind if we scheduled a follow-up meeting to explore the possible options with the possible consultants that we have in store for you?
Yeah, I think a follow-up meeting might be worthwhile. I'd love to see the capabilities brief via email and potentially Edgar's resume to see what types of consultants you'd be able to provide. But I do think a follow-up call is probably warranted based on our needs coming up.
Of course, I will send over that follow-up meeting today with Edgar's resume as well. And I will reach out to our recruiters and ask them if they have any other possible consultants that could meet the data visualization analysis that you're looking for.
All right, sounds great. I really appreciate it, Cole.
Thank you. Have a good day, Andrew.
You too. Take care. Awesome. Really good job, Cole. I thought the presentation was great. You hit on a lot of really good information. I love the creativity of, the storytelling with Edgar and what he did in that position. That I found that to be unique and that to be, a really strong selling point in terms of what we have done with previous clients in the past. So really good job there. I also found it pretty creative that you had the kind of discounted rates for, recurring clients and, clients that you have established relationships with. It's not exactly the way our business model works at
Mhm.
Alku, but it's something that's
Of course.
creative and unique, which I found to be,
I
pretty.
improvised on that part because like I knew that you guys had the rate of $150, but I knew that you're gonna probably hit me with a low ball offer, and I just wanted to try to like work up to like in the middle. I didn't know where we would end up, but
Yeah, no, I thought that was really
I'm
solid.
also not gonna lie. I was a little bit nervous like when I was hopping on the call because I was trying to like click record and I couldn't like figure out the record, but I think I got it to work in the end. So at least
You,
like it did
yeah,
start recording.
I got like a notification that you hit record, probably like a couple minutes in. So hopefully you didn't miss too much of the
Okay,
beginning of
okay.
it. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good job. I would just say, like, of course, this is a role play where, you're not working at Alku on a day to day. So there's a lot of detail and a lot of information that you were trying to get across. I would try to have that a little bit more memorized so you're not reading directly off of a script the whole time. Your
Mhm.
cadence and the way that you went about it sounded really good, sounded really polished. But when you're reading off of a script the whole time, if I were to throw a curveball at you, an
Mhm.
objection that wasn't necessarily on your script, you might need to start thinking on your toes and pivot a little bit more.
Of course.
And that might be very challenging if you're so accustomed to reading off the script. So that would be my one piece of feedback is make sure that, you do have some additional information, or, realistically, the bulk of the information memorized instead of just reading off the script the full time.
Of course. Yeah, I try to I have a good amount of it memorized, but like with the flow and like I think that in the future, one thing that I'm gonna work on is try to like make bulletin points. I know in the past I made bulletin points, but then like I would only be able to cover about like a minute in, and then like I kind of lose my train of thought. So then
Yeah,
at least like with that, I kind of just like write it all out. I don't try to read it like word for word. I kind of just like look at it really quick. I see like a key point, and then I try to talk about that key point. But 100% I agree with you.
absolutely. Well, overall, really good job. Good luck with the rest of school, and yeah, good luck with this project.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.